Spike Lee has built a career on boldness. From the incendiary Do the Right Thing to the epic sweep of Malcolm X and The Post, 9/11 melancholy of 25th Hour, his work pulses with style, urgency, and unapologetic social commentary. Few filmmakers of his generation have remained as consistently provocative or as relevant. But for all his triumphs, there's one recurring flaw in his filmography: his struggle with remakes. That weakness was on full display in 2013's Old Boy, a widely panned reinterpretation of Park Chan-wook's masterpiece. More than a decade later, Lee has returned to the remake arena with Highest to Lowest, starring Denzel Washington. While the film currently sits at a respectable 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, it continues the same troubling pattern, showing that Spike Lee is at his weakest when he tries to filter his voice through someone else's vision. A Kurosawa classic reimagined. Highest to Lowest reworks Akira Kurosawa's 1963 thriller High and Low, one of the Japanese master's greatest achievements. The original follows a shoe executive forced to make a moral choice when kidnappers mistakenly abduct his driver's child instead of his own. Split into two halves, the tense standoff inside the executive's home and the gritty police procedural that follows, the film explores class divisions, morality, and the price of compassion. Lee's version transplants the story into the world of the music industry. Washington plays David King, a powerful record executive facing the same wrenching dilemma: sacrifice his fortune to save another man's child or protect his empire at the cost of his conscience. It's fertile ground for Lee, who has long interrogated race, class, and capitalism. Yet the result feels oddly muted. Style without Spike. The problem is that the first half of Highest to Lowest plays like Lee is imitating Kurosawa rather than interpreting him. Gone are the trademark flourishes, kinetic camera work, saturated colors, split-screen energy. In their place are static shots and rigid compositions that mimic Kurosawa's precision but lack his elegance. Instead of tension, the film often feels stiff and strangely lifeless, as if Lee is holding himself back. It isn't until the midpoint, when the ransom exchange sets off a more traditional crime drama, that the film loosens up and starts to feel like a Spike Lee joint. Dynamic tracking shots and sharp dialogue return, along with a sharper critique of modern power structures. But by then, the gulf in quality between the two halves is glaring. Morality lost in translation. Kurosawa's High and Low thrived on nuance. The protagonist's decision was complicated by class guilt, corporate greed, and moral ambiguity. Highest to Lowest hints at similar themes. Washington's king is painted as a man seduced by status and control, but Lee never fully develops them. The conflict reduces to a blunt parable about greed versus decency, and the film's commentary on contemporary culture feels more like generational scolding than incisive critique. Where Kurosawa's antagonist was a chilling embodiment of resentment and social imbalance, Lee's version leans on cliches. The moral grayness is replaced by clear-cut messaging, leaving little room for the audience to wrestle with the story's dilemmas. Better than Old Boy, but still misaligned. To be fair, Highest to Lowest is no disaster. Washington delivers a commanding performance, and the film contains flashes of Lee's brilliance, particularly in its second half. For many viewers, that's enough to justify its warm reception. But compared to the electrifying originality of Lee's best work, it feels restrained, even outdated. Kurosawa's High and Low remains strikingly modern more than 60 years later, while Lee's remake somehow feels stuck in the past. The irony is stark. The original speaks urgently to today's social divides, while the remake dulls its edges. In the end, Highest to Lowest illustrates a recurring truth in Spike Lee's career. When he tells his own stories, he soars. When he tries to inhabit someone else's cinematic skin, the result too often falters.